about sequencing again, right? We get this song about Stanley Milgram, the psychologist from the 50s, who during the Nazi trials wanted to find out if people could be convinced to hurt someone, and ran this experiment in which they were supposed to teach someone how to do something, and if they didn't get it, they shocked them, and if they still didn't get it, they had to shock them more. And if they still didn't get it, they had to shock them within, inches of death, and then if they still didn't get it, they had to actually kill them. And most people did. Like shock like that, it's crazy. Beautiful.
I always loved the vocals in that thing. It reminded me of Birdie. It reminded me of the Birdie soundtrack. The way they would take his vocals from the previous albums and such, and
process them and reverb them out, and Yep. I always loved this kind of experimental thing from him, with the cool little drum beat with the just a little ditty thing that kind of gets dropped in. And there would be this other world for a moment,
There'd be an instrumental melody. That's what I liked. Instrumental melody, but it would come from about 3 different instruments. Like you have a little piano in there, and then a Fairlight sound, and all kind of. But it'd be like one melody, kind of riding through those separate sounds.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. And then the harmonies between all the parts.
Yeah.
You can't tell what's voice and what's piano and what's synthesizer and what's guitar.
And you got a mixture of like a drum machine and real drums. Kind of comboed in there, I really
classic Peter Gabriel. That is more classic Peter Gabriel from definitely third and fourth albums, maybe first album too.
But I think about Lanois. I don't know if his stamp on it, but his sensitivity to something like that.
Yes.
I have no words.
Well, I think, Lanois worked with Eno, is where I first know Daniel Lanois from working with Eno on the Apollo soundtrack.
Right.
And so I always kind of think of him as an ambient producer.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Because he's got sensitivity to the little things,
Right.
And so that is one of the cool things about this album, that it's not so complex texturally and sonically as the third and fourth Peter Gabriel albums, but it does have the complexity. It's just clearer.
Right.
Right. And it might even be more complex in a lot of ways.
Right.
Because we can hear so much more of it,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's the end of the album, right?
That was the end of the album of the vinyl, So at Craig's Record Factory, that would have been the end of the record. But then the CD and the tape came out, and we've been Laurie Anderson fans for at this point. We've been Laurie Anderson fans for a few years as well.
Right.
So the original version of this song was on Laurie Anderson's Mister Heartbreak album from like 1982 or something like that.
They're similar, but they're different. Laurie's is a little bit more out there, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Or sparse.
Sparser, more electronic. And she said that she and Peter couldn't agree on a bass line, so that's why they did their own versions.
Flying birds.
So this is a bass
Excellent birds. Watch them fly.
There they go.
Hey, now Rogers played on that.
Falling snow.
Roger.
Now Rogers.
Nile Rodgers. Oh. Maybe he's the bass player?
Watch
No.
For the synth?
Guitar.
Long words. Excellent words.
I can hear them now. It's the picture. This is the picture. This is the picture. This is the picture.
This fits along with my love of birds.
That little kind of birdie little whistle sound.
I'm sitting by the window, watching the snow fall. I'm looking out, and I'm moving, turning in time, catching up, moving in. Jump up, and I can land on my feet. Look out!
So now it's in 3. 2, 3. Yeah, they did this live. That's what they did live.
This is the picture. This is the picture. This is the picture. This is the picture.
Back to the 4 again. 3, 4.
Looking out, watching out. When I see the future, I close my eyes.
That's so Laurie Anderson right
I see pictures of people rising up. I see pictures of people falling down. I see pictures of people standing on their heads, they're ready.
there. Such Laurie Anderson.
Pictures of people rising up. I see pictures of people falling down. I see pictures of people standing on their heads, they're ready.
They're looking out,
Look out!
they're watching out.
Watch out!
They're looking out,
Look out!
they're watching out. They're watching out. They're watching out. They're watching out. Watch out. They're watching out. Watch
I'm not sure if it really. Well, I guess it. You know that like the sequence of that album was so masterful. I'm not sure it really fit in, and I kind of understand why they didn't put it on the vinyl, but I'm glad they put it on the CD, and it really.
It's a cool bonus track.
And it makes it like what? Now there's like 3 duets on this album, with Kate, Sue and Dore, and Laurie Anderson.
That's right. That's
But
true.
you really don't have on Peter Gabriel albums, or at least before then.
Yeah, you do on the next album with Sinead O'Connor, a couple.
Yeah.
But up to this point, we had not had any. Well, Kate sang on No Self Control for the third album.
And Games with.
Well, yes, Games
with Tears.
Well, yeah, duh. The very first song, the one that hooked me with Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush both, actually.
Right.
Yeah. So
pretty good album, Keith. I think it's a pretty good album.
It's a cool one. Now that is a classic Peter Gabriel. We were both really into this album. So Del, thanks for taking me back to 1986, 87.
We got a lot of Peter Gabriel to work through, so we might as well just keep the journey going. So
yep. There's lots more to come from Peter Gabriel. Apparently, he's working on a new album too. So,
cool. Very cool.
I-O or something like that, like I/O.
Very cool.
So what's next, Del?
We go visit his friends, his old friends.
His old buddies. Yep.
Couple of albums after Peter left.
He left.
Yeah.
We've already listened to Trick of the Tail, so this is
We did do Trick.
So that was early 76. This is late 76. Wind and
Now
Weather.
we're gonna weather with the wind. Yes.
Another beautiful album with the Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, Steve Hackett, and of course Phil Collins. So. Yeah, join us for that one, man.
One of my favorites, really.
It is.
It
is,
just,
me too.
I love this whole era. I really do. I really like that era.
Yeah, those two albums, Trick of the Tail and this one, just go together like bread and butter, man. So,
right.
So join us for that.
So he is Keith.
And he is Del. We're Renjeaux. We listen to cool albums. We will see you next time. Be sure to click on that like button and all those
Hey guys,
YouTube thingy.
Thanks a lot. Seriously, for joining us.
We love you. We do love you.